So why networking? So it's basically collaborating with people around us, collaborating with people you might not know currently, or maybe you want to know more about them. Then guiding, like if you have few resources, if you have knowledge about a particular topic and you want to share that topic to others, you can guide, you can help them. And then obviously the insights, if a particular person is in a professional career and he or she is doing well, you can get a lot of insights by just asking a few questions, and you may be able to know a lot of things that you might be wanting to know. So yes, these are the key topics that we think that we would gain and we would have while why we need to network. Yeah. So now it's college networking. So, college networking is like interacting with students and friends, as I already spoke about, and not only friends and students, it might also be your teachers in your college, which you want to interact with, because after all, these all people will be there with you throughout the 4 years of engineering. So it's it's the best way to gain a lot of exposure with your friends and other fellow students. So, talking about college networking, if we see that there are 4 years of engineering, so we, at a particular point of time, you might either be a senior or a junior. If you are in first year, you would be a junior to second, third, and fourth year. And if you are in third year, then you might be senior for second year, but you might be junior for the fourth year. So collaborating with seniors would be a great way of networking with your friends and with your students. So first of all, seniors are really helpful, and you just need to know how to properly connect with them and have a talk with them. You can seek help. You can go, since currently everything is online, you might not get chances to interact with seniors, but there are various ways of interacting. You can also have getting participate in college events. For example, seniors, like people in third year and fourth year, they conduct various college events, workshops and seminars. You can interact with your seniors and you can get to know a lot about how they are managing these events and how they are conducting these events. It would be a great help for you in the longer run if you know these things. Professional networking is something that we come across when we are not in college, or more professional, as in we are not interacting with people who are known to us. For example, uh, the professional networking websites, for example, LinkedIn and Meetup, help us in collaborating with people whom we don't know but have a similar interest in the area that we want to work. So professional networking is a huge part of your engineering as well as the career that you would be pursuing later, because professional networking will come in hand wherever you go.
So the first question is how to approach a current student or professor of universities that one may be applying to.
Okay. Okay. So LinkedIn can be a great resource if you want to contact students or alumni of universities you are wishing to apply to. Message them while sending a connection request in short and in a formal way, so that they are not being offended, or they are, since these people are really busy, and they might not have time, being uh, being in a formal way and being short in your message, it will really help you to get replies from them and get knowledge from them. And in case you want to uh, contact a particular professor of a university, I think LinkedIn won't be of much help because LinkedIn is like I'm talking about people who are going abroad. So professors are not active on LinkedIn. They have their own website, which are linked to their university website. So you guys can head over to that and find a particular email address as a point of contact and mail them. So this might be the solution if you want to contact or approach a particular student or alumni.
So the next question is, how do I network when I'm an introvert?
Introvert. Okay. Uh, so I would say that it's not a big deal for become of being an introvert. It's okay to be an introvert, but if you feel that you being an introvert is posing issues in connecting with people that you want to talk to, then uh, like you shouldn't directly jump to asking doubts to people that you don't know. Since you are feeling a bit comfortable to open up with people, you can start with the people that are close to you. For example, your immediate family members, your relatives, you can talk with them. You can have a kind of conversation with them and ask them the doubts that you are having. Surely, if the questions or if the things that you are asking are technical or the domain that you're asking are not aligned with these people, then it's okay. You can explore by yourself as well, and then try opening up with your queries, and and always welcome their feedback because uh, because these people are uh, people who will not judge you you know because they know you well enough. So by doing that, you will get a bit confidence to open up, and once you are comfortable, try the same with your friends, and then step by step start interacting with people out of your circle. This might help you in becoming an ambivert, and this will take time. So don't rush it. Take your time, interact with people those who are close to you, get their feedback, and then open up with people who are out of your circle or who are not close to you in order to network.
And what about if I am not? I have completed my college and now I am in a workplace. How do I talk to people over there?
Okay, so so if you are introvert, then like first of all, it's okay to introvert, but if you want to interact with people, you can start talking with a single person you feel might be okay to contact with. Have like contact him whenever you feel contacting him or her, and if you feel like opening up with him or her, it's okay. You can open up, but if you feel that it's being too much or he or she might not be the person I should open up to, you can anyways talk with your friends who are not in your who are not in your company but who are in similar profiles in other companies, and you can gain insight from them as well, and then slowly you can try to open up with people. I think this might help if you are out in a particular job.
Should we use good vocabulary, fancy words to impress, or just be simple?
Okay, so I think uh, good vocabulary is good, but not using very hard or very confusing words. In the end, it's what is the purpose of the resume? The purpose of the resume is to convey uh, your things, your whatever you have done in your 4 years of engineering or whatever you have done before applying to that particular job. So uh, if you are being simple, it's good. Uh, Using difficult words will sometimes confuse the person who is reading. And in day-to-day networking, if you're asking, using good vocabulary or simple, the aim of conversing with anyone, or the aim of network, is to understand. And like, the first aim should be understand. So if you are connecting with people, try to be as simple and as crisp as possible, because if the other person will not understand what you are trying to speak, then it will be like, it will be hard for that person to uh, give a solution to your problem. So I think being simple would be better at first, and as and when you know that person, you can try to be good at vocabulary and try collaborating with them.
Jainil, I do have a question. Like, I mean, not a question, but what is your opinion about attending college events like Colloquium or Pragati or Robocon, etc.?
Okay. Attending colloquium. Okay, so colloquium is an IT event. So I myself have attended a lot of events in colloquium, and in second year I have won the coding competition. And yes, Pragati and colloquium are also a great way of attending, of gaining exposure and gaining a lot of insight. Also, in the process, you will learn a lot, because uh, I myself have also participated in Pragati, and I have made projects with my friends. As a team, we have used a lot of time, a lot of resources. We have collaborated, and at the end, you will be satisfied, because you have done something different from people. So it's a great way of learning, and surely it will be benefited uh, in the longer run.
Thanks, Jainil.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one more question. How to cope up with studies and events?
Okay. Uh, Studies and events. So you can have a, um, a fair line between this. Uh, at some point, if you think attending events would be more beneficial for you, then you can skip a bit part of your studies, but not at the cost of failing in a particular exam, or not scoring good. But you can have a fair line, where if you think that this attending this workshop or attending events would be a great help for you, then you can attend events. And talking about studies, pointers are a lot of importance if you are planning to apply for studies abroad, or even if you're planning to apply for jobs. So try maintaining your pointers above 8, because uh, some companies have criteria of CGPA more than 8 CGPA. For example, a few companies did come when I was in fourth year, which had uh, the criteria of 8 CGPA, and few of my friends were not able to sit uh, in that company's hiring. So try keeping your CGPA around 8, and thereby balancing with the events that you want to join, or if you want to attend. So yeah, so you should have a right balance, and you should decide based on that.
How to avoid arguments and have healthy debates instead?
Okay. Uh, I would say arguments, arguments happen. Like, why? What is the reason arguments happen? Because it's like, it's not like you versus uh, you and the other person you're talking to versus the problem, but it is you versus that other person. So let me elaborate more. It's not that you are fighting or you are trying to get your point of view being agreed from that person because that person is bad or that person is not agreeing to you at all. It should be that you are not agreeing because you are not able to agree to the problem that you are discussing and not the person. So the conflicts arise because you are um you are arguing with that person and not about the problem. So if you remove the person out of it and stick to the problem, then a lot of arguments would be avoided and it would lead to healthy debates instead. So let's dive deep into LinkedIn. I guess you might be knowing what LinkedIn is and what it really helps in. There are a lot of benefits in using LinkedIn.